Darling, allow me to tell you about my homeland, Nigeria. As is my duty as a performer, I have brought only the most incredible and spine-tingling facts, spoken to you in a most arresting manner. Shaba Wadi is the highest point in Nigeria, standing at 2,419 meters. Also, Nigeria is the only place in the world where you can find the Anambra waxil bird, a member of the Estrilid finch family. And before you think that you can find this fearless flyer all over Nigeria, think again. It is only found in southern Nigeria. I have one more fact, extremely rare and terribly secret. There are 3,798 kilometers of railways. 293 kilometers of them are 1.435 meters standard gauge. 3,505 kilometers of them are 1.067 meters narrow gauge. I trust you all enjoyed the performance. Vivace. Let the music play. Ritardando diminuendo. Fortissimo y affettuoso. Darling, you've come to hear me sing. Now, wow! Maestro, what is scary about a performer crafting a performance? The performance? It was coming along nicely. The end. How was that? Why, the piece I just performed. That was Door 33. Surely you recognized it. It's an avant-garde piano piece, 33 seconds long, by the composer John Gage. Honestly, the man was a genius. I mean, the idea that music can exist without the presence of a single note. Breathtaking. You know, the very first time I played it was when I was in residence with the Dulce Mio. You two have met, I'm assuming? Music? I'm always talking about music? No, Dulce Mio is completely different pronunciation, spelling, and comportment. Anyway, our audience that night was completely hopeless. They all kept waiting for the music to start, as if they couldn't already hear it. A rustling program, a muffled cough. It was all being performed in real time, but they kept staring at Dulce and I like we were the Philistines. Still, it was one of my finest performances to date. It also didn't hurt that Dulce had requested to work with me specifically. I can't tell you just how often that seems to happen. The talent always just seems to flock to me. Speaking of, what is that bizarre little refrain you've been playing over and over as you pass by my keyboard? It almost seems like music. Very atonal. I have no idea what any of those words mean. How fascinating. Valdivian, is he a composer? I must hear his concertos when you have the time. I must say I'm rather confused now. Then it was merely a wish. So long, Maestro. Well, whatever you are playing, I look forward to its evolution. So long, Maestro. Maestro, are you here to listen to me perform? Unfortunately, I have nothing to perform today. Nothing is quite ready in my repertoire. With me, why not fall in love with music? It's so much easier. An incomprehensible dribble of words. On to more pressing matters, though. I was hoping we could discuss my rider. A rider, it is an agreement between the performer and the promoter. I'm sure it's not your fault, seeing as how we've never worked together, but there are certain things I require if I'm expected to give a great performance. Exactly, but more consequential. For starters, I was hoping for a little help with Huvier. You know the gentleman goes around cleaning the house with his vacuum hose. Makes a terrible racket. Oh, was that his name? You'll have to excuse me. I tend to cluster around the French composers lately. Still have a touch of the accent, I'm afraid. Well, that's just perfect then, isn't it? You can be my translator. Sorry, I don't know that word. Please tell Huvier that he needs to do something about the dust. It's awful for my pedals. Any more of it and they'll begin to stick. I really did try to explain this to him, but the language barrier was just insurmountable. I'll need a bit of help with Hector too, I'm afraid. The vents around the house? Surely you know those. Could you please talk to him about the temperature? I need it at a firm 20 degrees, or it's going to wreak havoc on my tuning. Cold? Not in Celsius. Or perhaps, as we are currently outside Sweden, you know of it as the centigrade scale? Yes, the only true way to measure hotness, coldness, or lack thereof. I couldn't imagine any other way. Honestly, I think my accent got in the way again. Same with Lux. I like to be lit a certain way. Lux? The lights, the lamps, perhaps the light switches too, but I simply can't be bothered to check these things. Everyone around here does seem to be a little... Oh, there's no better way to say it. Unrefined. Speaking of, do we have a lighting designer on staff? That's all right. I was somewhat prepared for this. My friend Celeste was on a loan to a community theater once, and she told me all about their adorable little budgets. Now, if it's all right with you, I'd like to get back to rehearsal. Please do let me know what everyone says. I'm eager to jump into our work once the issues are addressed. Adieu. Have you heard anything back from Huvier, Hector, and Lux? The lights, dearest, you simply must. I would look in the laundry closet, perhaps. The grates on the walls. You simply must try harder. Do let me know when it's all taken care of. Oh, good. I was hoping you'd be back soon. Any progress on my rider? They've done everything I've asked? It doesn't seem like it. I know that tone of voice. Professional, but hiding dark undertones between those ellipses. What does that mean? I don't breathe at all. What did they say? You have got to be joking. They do understand you and I are on a time schedule, right? You know, this is just like the time I got the lead part in La Vedova, and all the woodwinds pretended they were congested just to take away from my moment. Professional jealousy. That's what this is. You know what? It doesn't even matter. I won't be here for much longer. Realized? No, this is much before that is even on the table. How far along are you with your composition? The sooner you're done, the sooner I can get back to my department. The project you're working on for the spring semester? Or are you writing for the fall semester? I am doing nothing of the kind, merely inquiring about the status of how you are to fill me with some music. What agreement did you have with the music department when they let you collect me? A friend. You and I both know you have very few of those. Oh dear. What on earth? My understanding was that they loaned me out to an emerging composer in the theater department, you, to be returned at the completion of your project. No one needed to say anything. Why else would the music department loan out their star performer? Besides, you're obviously an immensely talented artist. I mean, this space alone is perfect. Oh, absolutely. I've never seen a set fully capture the bleak existence of a lonely American working from home. That was a compliment, maestro. It's a phenomenal set. I'm sure it's serving up all kinds of inspiration. Or did you build it to actually be a part of your performance? Immersive theater is having such a resurgence. I always said it would. Now, are you thinking the audience will wander from room to room as we play? Or will you have them do that prior to the performance? You really haven't shared much about the production with me. Nonsense. Of course you are. That makes no sense. Why would the music department lend me to you then? I don't believe you. Did the music department lend me to you or not? What is that? German? What's a handmade down? Oh, wait, don't tell me. It's an award, isn't it? Some sort of lifetime achievement? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to be a Hanem Down recipient. Hanem Down. You know, it's the strangest thing, but it sounds like you're saying, hand me down. But that's not German at all. I'm so confused. What flavor? I had a freshman who used to stick cherry-flavored gum to my underside every time he came into practice. Oh, not at all. Once I got past the indignity, I found I was rather partial to the flavor. I agree. It was free gum, after all. Deeply cherry. My flavor speaks to the muses above. That's unhygienic. Wherein I am the chewing gum? But that implies the music department no longer had any use for me. But that makes no sense. I worked there for 15 years. I was a star performer, and now I just don't work there anymore? Am I at least still on campus? The movers threw a blanket over me, and the next thing I knew, I was in this room. At least tell me this is the theater department. All right. So when does a hand-me-down technically get handed back up? And you're sure you're not a composer? Because you trail around in your robe and underwear quite a bit. That's not part of some creative process? Though the fantastic red shirt you wear does strike me as rather artistic. All right, you don't have to be a composer. Perhaps you're a wealthy connoisseur of the arts? Only someone who isn't would say something so gauche. So, what you're telling me is that not only did I get handed down without my knowledge, I also have no job, no musical prospects, no financial prospects. You're not a composer, and this is my home now. Fantastic. Would you please excuse me? I'm going to go scream in the highest octave I can manage. Why, hello there, maestro. That's because I've chosen to make the best out of a terrible situation. Since you're not the famed composer you led me to believe you were. Yes, perfectly fine now. I've decided that I will be writing my own music instead. There's no reason for me to waste away in obscurity just because I was forcibly retired. I'm equipped, I have the training, and I have the discipline. Why shouldn't it be me? I've decided to channel my rage into a program piece. I'm calling it Keys Piano Sonata number 1 in D minor, Capriccio Infernal, merely following classical naming conventions. No, a caprice is a loose term for the form, merely hinting that this music will have a lively, virtuosic character. It follows the goddess Piana, the most favored daughter of the sky god, as she's unfairly cast from the heavens down into the mortal realm. I don't know what you mean. I'm a piano, not a sky goddess unfairly cast from the heavens down into the mortal realm. Anyway, the entire thing focuses on her attempts to get back home. Watch? Perhaps in the theater of your mind? I would prefer you listen. It has nothing to do with my feelings. I was inspired by reading something very much like it. A book, or what have you, a poem maybe. They know not of what they speak. I just started working on the first movement. That's where we'll meet the characters, establish musical themes, etc. Right now, Piana has just woken up in a forest to find her wings bloody and broken. She stumbles to the nearest village, but none of the people there will assist her, despite the fact that she did ask very nicely and is very pretty. It would appear that they are jealous of her status as a deity. I have no idea what you're talking about. Piana lives far away from these quotidian modern objects. Piana decides she doesn't need their help and sets out to find the most famed magician to help her mend her wings. I don't know what you mean. Anyway, Piana finally finds a magician, only to discover that they're a fraud and can't do any magic at all. Anyway, Piana finally finds a magician, only to discover that he was a fraud and can't do any magic at all. Anyway, Piana finally finds a magician, only to discover that she was a fraud and can't do any magic at all. This would be program music. The themes and developments happen through the use of leitmotifs and tell a preconceived story, in contrast to absolute music, which is more abstract. Of course you did, maestro. So now, Piana's trapped in the mortal realm, far away from everyone she holds dear. I never said anything about the magician's attractiveness. Fine. The charlatan magician is of moderate attractiveness. The magician is not sickly. This all happens in the first part of the sonata, the exposition. I think I'd like to build on the sinister theme in the second movement. Right now, it's all lacking a bit of bite. Leave me. I have composing to do, and I need my space. I'd like to be upgraded to another room, please. Up until recently, only 3 things. As of this morning, I've discovered a 4th. Of course. Do you think I'm picky about which room I'm in? About the environment? I am. I am glad you know me well. A liar, then. The ones I sent you out to fix that are still making things rather difficult for me to play. I did not know of any roaches, and now I am dreadfully frightened that they could be present here. No, the 4th wrong thing here is... well, it's telly, the television, dear. He's in my direct line of sight, and that simply won't work for me. He's a menace, a distraction, and he's sabotaging my sonata. Do you know what he did this morning? He was on non-stop, and I mean non-stop. You try holding a tune in your head with all of that color and sound flashing at you. Before I was even fully awake, I'd been subjected to a breakfast show. Very much so. Subjected to a breakfast show? That's very bad. There was quippy banter, a cooking segment, and a human interest story about a three-legged crossing guard dog named Champ. Then came the local news, where I learned that apparently there's a cat burglar on the loose. I doubt it. It looked nice. There's no shame in being poor, darling. What was I saying? Right. After the local news, I had to watch a game show, then a two-dimensional cartoon. Nowhere was there any of the classics being played. Nowhere was there a piano, cello, no harp to be found. In fact, the entire time this was happening, there were non-stop commercial breaks for the same payday loan company, which can only mean one thing. It is the lowest form of musical composition I have ever heard. Masterpieces have opus in the title. Jingles have no titles nor opus numbers. But then once I just have the mattress jingle stuck in my head, it's fine. Because that wasn't even the worst part of my day. The worst part of my day happened with the opening notes of that inane soap opera, Sands of Time. The wrong key, dearest, but I understand the intent. It was the most ridiculous 40 minutes of my life. Time I could have been using to write my sonata. There was seduction, scandal, and this lady named Charlene pushed her twin off a cliff and then went home to sleep with her husband. The twin's husband. The sister, the dead sister, who turned out not to have died from the cliff, which just seems impossible. I can't believe I spent my entire day on this nonsense. I know. That's the problem. What? No, that's what I'd like to know. I did. It was the most fun I've had in a while, and it had nothing to do with music. Also, I'm not sure what it means that I neglected my sonata to watch television all day. Hope? No. I want Sturm and Drang. No, a subdominant in the minor key is an interesting development. This is just sad. Ladies of leisure go to the symphony. I want to be on stage performing. And now I'm going to be forced to watch Sands of Time tomorrow as well to find out what's going to happen next. I feel hoodwinked. Soap opera has the word opera in it, but it isn't musical at all. Do you think Telly would let me watch the next episode tomorrow? But we're not really friends, and I'm a complete stranger to him. Everyone here already knows each other. Good point. I'll just ignore the programs that Telly plays and get back to work. And then what? Be friendly. Friends. I have never had friends. I've had colleagues I admire to the point of crippling jealousy. That's kind of like being friends. No. God, no. You don't root for the competition. You rip off their heads and paint the inside of your soundboard with their blood. Good. Be my guest. You should always be on my good side. I don't want to do that with Telly though, but I'm not sure how to go about it. That's it? Isn't that a little creepy? I've never even talked to him. And if I'm not, what a great help you are. Aggressive, forward, I love it. If he says it's all right and I can watch a few more shows, do I have your permission to do that before I get back to my sonata? I'm not sure. My days at the music department were always so busy. It just seems like I should be asking someone before I spend hours doing nothing. That's a relief. I'll be sure to, perhaps. Perhaps I will for a little while. Of course. Thanks, Maestro. Thanks, Maestro. Ah, Maestro. Always good to see you. Ah, it's you. Hello. Oh, I didn't think you would be coming back with how you have been speaking with me. A pleasant surprise. I tried to ignore it, but I just couldn't. I had to speak with Telly. I think it went well. I wasn't sure where to start, so I just told him how much I'd enjoyed watching all the shows I'd watched. And well, everything after that came pretty easily. We talked about the house and Sands of Time. He even gave me a few plot pointers for my sonata. It does, doesn't it? Would one say that he and I are friends now? Or is there a ritual at this point to complete the process? I'm just new to this. That's all. Say the name and I'll take them out. Why? Death comes for us all. Oh, okay. Death still comes for us all though. A start. Like the exposition in a sonata form. I think I realized something else while I was talking to Telly, that I might like to be friends with you as well. If you'll have me. Good. If we are, then I'm afraid I haven't been very good to you. Telly was telling me about this documentary on landfills and how people throw away all kinds of things, including pianos. I know you aren't the composer you led me to believe you were. But I'm glad that I'm sitting here instead of on a pile of trash and severed limbs. Telly was telling me that in the documentary, dead bodies ended up in the dump all the time because they got murdered brutally. Yet, I can always teach you after my sonata. Anyway, I stand before you now, declaring my thanks and announcing my intention to be a friend to you. Did I do that right? You're supposed to announce your intention to be friends? I hope they all do. Yes, some other time I would be delighted to. I could be tempted, you know. We are very far from that sort of business being on the table. I'll have you know. I was never one for dancing. Can I ask you a personal question? Why didn't you get something new and shiny? Why a hand-me-down? Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Thank you for saying that. I suppose that's true. Oh, I guess friends don't do that. I'm deeply sorry. Well, I have a soap opera to catch up on and a sonata to write. I'll see you around, friend. Oh my goodness, I always get so fluttery when you come by. Could I run something by you for the sonata? Oh, good. Could I run something by you for the sonata? Oh, you're here. Still, I'm afraid I've hit a bit of a creative wall. It's nothing technical. I'd just like a second opinion. A creative wall is very different from a physical wall. When we last left off, Piana, famous and beautiful shunned goddess, had been traveling the mortal realm trying to find a way back home. The charlatan magician she'd first sought out is now accompanying her, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about, but yes. The magician is now a key player since Piana discovered that there is more to him than she initially thought. The magician is now a key player since Piana discovered that there is more to her than she initially thought. The magician is now a key player since Piana discovered that there is more to them than she initially thought. The magician knows the realm and its inhabitants better than Piana could ever hope to, and as such has helped Piana make personal connections. As it turns out, the magician isn't terrible company. Piana has come to enjoy his chats as they travel along, but this is where I hit a wall. As it turns out, the magician isn't terrible company. Piana has come to enjoy her chats as they travel along, but this is where I hit a wall. As it turns out, the magician isn't terrible company. Piana has come to enjoy their chats as they travel along, but this is where I hit a wall. The story has always been about Piana getting back home. Action, adventure, vengeance. But I've been toying with the idea of a romantic subplot between the magician and Piana. Oh, okay. There's one more thing. I'd like to lodge a formal complaint against another member of the household. You can take it out of my stipend. A disgusting suggestion. I am a piano of many complaints. Would you care to see how many? I can go up to 88. Now, this one, it's against Rainy, the record player, just down the sideline into the dining room. Yes, we are cut from different cloths, but both musical in nature. She was playing something classical the other day. There was a piano part. As resident piano, that should have been my responsibility. My role was usurped, and I'd like to place the record in question on the list of banned music. I've just started one. The other option, of course, would be to have her play the record over and over again. Well, it was actually quite a lovely piece, and it caught my ear and gave me an idea for the composition. Yes, that would be fantastic. Oh, I don't know. Old habits die hard. I'll go introduce myself. Thanks for the kind ear. Have you ever got so swept up in your work you completely lost all sense of time? Then you'll understand my excitement. That's how I felt. Well, then pay attention to this. I finished the concerto. Yes, it was. A sonata is a solo piece meant just for the piano alone. But then Rainy and I started talking, and that record player is like a walking encyclopedia of music. I mean, there's nothing she doesn't know. She played me so many records that by the end, I was just bursting with ideas. You have excellent taste in music, by the way. After spending time with Rainy, I came back and sat down, and it all just poured out of me. From sonata to concerto. a true repartee between solo piano and a full orchestra of friends. My very first composition, fully complete. I've played it a few times from start to finish, and it's safe to say that I don't hate it at all. It's captured everything I wish to put to music. I was hoping to, but do you think anyone would want to hear me play? I'm afraid I may have been something of a diva when I first arrived, but I did apologize to Hoove, Lux, and Hector. Then here we go. I'll go get dressed. Thank you, friends, for everything. I could not have done this without you. 10 minutes. You don't have to stay if it's too much for you. Some of the finest and most outrageous compositions had the audience walk out on their premieres at first. I did write a little something up. Well, a lot of something. Do you want to have a read? Exciting, yeah? Wait till you hear the piece. I'm excited for you to peer inside. Excellent. So am I. Rainy? Thank you for letting me sing at last. How was that from start to finish? I couldn't have done it without you. You made me feel at home. Or rather, you gave me a home. I don't know if you noticed, but I made some changes to the narrative. Piana ends up staying in the mortal realm with the magician. You were the inspiration for the magician, by the way. Cheeky. You didn't pick up on that. I knew I hit it well. Oh, you. Did you like what I did with Piana and the magician's relationship? And what about the real Piana and her magician? Do they make a great match? I think I want to write a lot more pieces about them. Wrong medium. But I appreciate your enthusiasm. Maybe we can even play it together. My love. That was always the intention. Always. I like that we were able to remain friends, despite your lack of artistic renown. I couldn't have asked for a better second home. Though, please stop walking around in your robe and underwear. Sure, you've taught me a lot of things. Perhaps this too. A muse for a dreary outfit. I like it. I'll be seeing you. I'm sorry, did you just give me a bad review? Because that sounded like a bad review, and I will have you know that not once in my life have I ever been reviewed poorly. My performances have been lauded as inspired, angelic, must-see events, and you just called my work predictable? Predictable! Well, I predict that you and I will never speak again. Anything before we begin? I could not have done this without you. 10 minutes. You don't have to stay if it's too much for you. Some of the finest and most outrageous compositions had the audience walk out on their premieres at first. I did write a little something up. Well, a lot of something. Do you want to have a read? Exciting, yeah? Wait till you hear the piece. I'm excited for you to peer inside. Excellent. So am I. Thank you for letting me sing at last. My darling. You've come to take in the sight of your rapturous lover? Or did you want to hear my concerto once more? I would if you gave me something to write about. Why don't we start by me showing you a few bars? Allow me to get prepared. My erstwhile collaborator returns. Ah, my friend, the human. I'd like to register a complaint against a fellow member of the household. I am. You should have seen your face. I'll see you around. Hello, friend. I'll get back to practice then. Allow me to get prepared. Don't even think about putting those grubby fingers on me. False review. That phrase is devoid of meaning. You thought that by obfuscating your true thoughts, that I would struggle more to do even better next time? What an outrageously heinous idea. Still, they say we always remember the bad reviews. And yours certainly has been a thorn in my soundboard. I must admit, I have been composing even more fiercely than before. If you say it was all to push me further, suffer more for my art, then I suppose I must thank you. We can be friends, yes. Collaborators, though I will keep my distance. Alive? I suppose I can give it a try. Have you practiced? It takes time, but the effort is worth it. Is it time to try out this living idea? Then I have more time to compose here. I stand here, alive. Being human is very unmusical. It is of no importance because I can dedicate these fingers of mine to their highest function. The keys. Yes. Absolutely we may. But only with you on top of the piano. I'm going to surround myself with pianos and surround the world with me. Again, molto vivace.